Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I'm Ryan Bowling. Thank you all for joining me. What I want to do, I want to continue my discussion that I had the other day about the young boy by the name of Ralph Yarl, I believe, uh, the young teenager that was shot, and he did survive. He did survive. He was shot in the head and shot in the arm by an 84-year-old man, white male. Now, of course, there's a lot of controversy about this, and you know what the controversy is all about. It's about racism. And I said this in a previous video that when the mainstream media, particularly the left, gets on this, the main thing that they mention all the time, just about all the time, is race relations. It's always a racial issue. It never can be. It never can be some kind of organic situation where someone was reacting in fear or terror or whatever. It never can be any of that. It's always racial. Okay. And I see that's a problem. That is a problem in our country, and I blame in part, I blame the mainstream leftist media for it. Now, what I want to talk about in this video, I want to continue my discussion on this topic. What I want to do, I want to read an article from, I believe, Associated Press, which was the liberal article. It's a liberal news source, but I'm going to read from that. I'm gonna mix it up. Let's see what's going on here. And what I want to talk about in this particular video is the grandson of the 84-year-old man that shot the boy says that his grandfather got his racist ways from watching too much Fox News. Just think about that. This is apparently the grandson's assessment of his grandfather. So let's get into this. Let's get right into this article. It starts off with the grandson of the man who shot 60-year-old Ralph Yarl described his grandfather as a conspiracy theorist, an avid consumer of right-wing media who was acting upon racism in an interview with CNN Thursday morning. There you go, CNN. CNN, that's all they talk about, which is interesting to me. That's very, very interesting to me because from what I'm understanding from different documentation and different articles and different news sources, that CNN's ratings are really bad. And one would have to wonder if the ratings of this particular news source is so bad, then one would have to wonder why they're still on TV, why they're still going forward. I mean, what's the problem here? It's like, you're still spreading this rhetoric about everything being racial when it's involving a black person and a white person. It's all racial, particularly when there's a shooting. But let's go on. 84-year-old Kansas City homeowner Andrew Lester shot the African-American teenager after he came to Lester's house because he had the wrong address. Lester faces charges of first-degree assault and armed criminal action. And that's crazy. First-degree assault. First-degree assault. Though the Yarl family attorney and others are demanding he also is charged with committing a hate crime. So now not only are they trying to charge this man with first-degree assault and armed criminal action, they're trying to charge him with a hate crime. And I said this in the previous video. I'm not going to go over it. You can watch the previous video on this, but I think that they're stretching this way too far. You're taking it out of its context. We don't know if it was a hate crime. We don't know if it was a first-degree assault. 84-year-old man, 10 o'clock at night, someone's pulling on your door. What are you supposed to think? Needless to say, the mainstream liberal media is not going to present that type of worldview. They're not going to present it that way. But let's go on. The case has prompted renewed discussions about self-defense, guns, and racism in America. So Don Lemon, here we go with him, spoke about it on Thursday with Lester's grandson, Clint Ludwig. Ludwig called the shooting, quote, a horrible tragedy that never should have happened. So Lemon asked him why he is speaking out against his grandfather. Now, I want to say something real quick about this whole idea that this case has prompted renewed discussions about self-defense, guns, and racism in America. What do you mean? What in the world does that mean, renewed discussion? It's no renewed discussion. People have been talking about self-defense, guns, and racism in America ever since Biden been in office and before then. What's that even mean? The case has prompted renewed discussions? It's no renewed discussions. This is a discussion been going on for the longest. What's renewed about it? Nothing. Let's go on. It's the right thing to do, he said. In this country, now see, here's let me just go ahead and read on what this young man is saying here. In this country, it happens over and over again where people get away with killing unarmed, innocent black people. And I would have had the same energy for any other case like I've had over and over again in this country. Stop right here. He makes the statement. It's the right thing to do. Okay, yes, it's the right thing to do if you know for sure that it was a hate crime and if you know for sure that it was first degree assault. Then it would be the right thing to do. Then it would be, hey, grandfather. Now, this is crazy. This is crazy because they showed a picture of the grandson, and the grandson looks kind of white. I mean, looks like he's mixed, rather. Looks like he's mixed. He doesn't look like he's purely white, or he looks like he's mixed, unless that's a different photo I'm looking at. But anyway, he says it's the right thing to do. Yes, it would be the right thing to do if, in fact, this was a first degree assault and it was a hate crime. But this young man, I'm gathering, is going off of the emotions of what he hear around him. That every time there's a situation involving a black person and a white person, particularly if it has to do with guns, the assumption is black person was unarmed and the white person was armed, and the white person shot the black person because they're black. That's the narrative that is being spun in our society. And it has to stop. It has to stop because what it is doing, it is raising more tension between racial groups in this country. We're becoming more and more divided. We're not becoming unified. We're becoming more and more divided because of news sources like this. But let's read on. Asked if he believes his grandfather is racist, Ludwig answered, I believe he holds racist tendencies and beliefs. He went on to say, and then this is the part that got me. He went on to say, he's just a stock American Christian male. A stock American Christian male? What the heck is a stock? What the heck you mean by that? A stock American Christian male. And notice what he does. He associates Christianity with this white person. Failing to realize there's millions of black Christians in this country. And black Christians in other countries in Africa as well, which is a continent, by the way. He goes on to say, it's an odor, that's just how they are. It's an odor, that's just how they are. How these people talk. It's the conspiracies and weird random racist things they say, and it doesn't make sense, but they're just scared. Okay, what he just said doesn't make sense. He says it's the conspiracies and weird random racist things. What conspiracies and what weird random racist things? What weird random racist things that old white people like this man is saying? What weird random racist things that white people in general are saying? Because that's really what he's pushing this at. That this man is because he says he's just a stock American Christian male. He didn't say he's an older American Christian male. Stock. Maybe stock means older. I don't know. He should have said it. But he says he's just a stock American Christian male. In other words, associating all white males that are Christian with this kind of attitude. That is an inaccurate attitude because history has shown. Let me get a little history. History has shown that whites have helped blacks in many different areas. One particular person, and I know you guys probably have heard this before. What was that artist's name? What's his name? Lil Wayne. In an interview, he stated with tears that when he was real young, before he became popular, he had ended up, I think, he getting shot or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. But he ended up getting shot or something. It was really severe. And excuse me, the police came by and he said, and this is what Lil Wayne said. I'm paraphrasing his words. He says that they came by. He says all the other police, and Lil Wayne was laying down bleeding. He said all these other police officers walked past him like he wasn't there. And he said they were black as he was. One police officer, I forget who he named the nickname this man. One police officer, he had a nickname. White man helped him. He said, he asked the other police officers, what are you guys doing? He said he took that man in, took Lil Wayne in, and took him to the hospital and he lived. I'll put it to you like this. If that white man hadn't have stepped in and saved Lil Wayne when he did, we wouldn't have a Lil Wayne. But the brothers turned him down, according to Lil Wayne. The brothers turned him around. Now, that's why Lil Wayne can't get into all this racist stuff that people are talking about. He said, I don't have that experience. And to be honest with you, let's be real now, because the mainstream liberal media keeps it stirred up. Let's be realistic. Let's deal with the facts. A vast majority of Black Americans in America right now, a vast majority of them, if not most of them, did not and do not have the same experiences that Black people had in the early 1900s in this country. They're not going to sit up here and tell that lie. You may have a few, but for the most part, Black people in America, in 2023 America, have not had the same experiences as Blacks have had in the early 1900s in this country. That's the part that ticks me off about a lot of Black people today. They scream and holler racism, but can't prove it. You got to prove it's racist. You got to prove it's a hate crime. Now, somebody may argue, well, that's the prosecuting attorney's job. They're supposed to prove that. Well, then let them do it. You don't put your mouth on it. That's the problem. You ain't no prosecuting attorney. Shut your big fat mouth, because all that's doing is keeping hatred and tension stirred up without getting all the facts. Get the facts first. Let's go on. They're just scared. They're not scared. What are they scared of? Yeah, scared of criminals. Scared of somebody going to try to kill them. All right. Lemon asked Ludwig to elaborate further on his generalization, leading to Ludwig commenting about Lester being attuned to racism because of Fox News. Now, listen to this. Now, this part got me. This part got me. I'm going to read this, and I'm going to get into this. I feel like a lot of people of that generation are caught up in this 24-hour news cycle of fear and paranoia perpetrated by some other news stations. The same argument could be said about CNN, MSNBC, CBS, and all the other leftist news sources, which are more and outnumber anything on the right in terms of mainstream media outlets. Could the same argument be had for them as well? That they keep the racial tension stirred up? I'm just saying. This 24-hour cycle of fear and paranoia, who exactly is it coming from? Is it coming from mainstream media sources or leftist media sources? I'll say this, that the left has more venue than the right in terms of mainstream venues. So where is this fear and paranoia really coming from? Let's move on. And the young man says, and he was fully into that, sitting and watching Fox News all day, every day, blaring in his living room. And I think that stuff really kind of reinforces this negative view of minority groups and leads people to be all. That doesn't necessarily lead people to be racist, but it reinforces and galvanizes racist people and their beliefs. Now, here's the problem with this assessment. Reading what this young man said gives me the belief that he doesn't watch Fox News. Now, I must admit, I don't really watch Fox News that much. I may watch bits and pieces of Tucker Carlson, but I don't watch Fox News. I don't watch mainstream media per se. I read articles. It's news, but it's written news. It's print news. But I don't really watch mainstream media because I don't have the time. I work a second shift job. I don't have the time. Plus, I don't have the stomach for it. I just don't have the stomach to sit up and hear these people lying and twisting the fact and keeping us all divided. I don't have the stomach for it. I'd rather read the print news, okay? I can stomach that. But it seems to indicate to me that reading what this young man has said in this article from Associated Press, I believe, okay, is that he himself doesn't watch Fox News. So if he doesn't watch Fox News, how can he make this assessment about Fox News? Because this is his accusation, that Fox News all day, every day, blaring in his living room. And I think that stuff really kind of reinforces this negative view of minority groups and leads people to be all that doesn't, to be all. I don't know what that means. Be all what? Is Fox News reinforcing negative views of minority groups in America? Please put that in the comment box below and let me know, because it don't seem to indicate that to me. What it does seem to indicate, the clips and bits and pieces of Fox News that I have seen and heard in terms of interviews, and I have watched interviews and so forth for people interviewed, it doesn't seem to reinforce any negative view of minority groups. What it seems to do is reinforce a different view of minority groups. What I have seen, what the left seems to do is always show, and I'm talking about the news sources, CNN, MSNBC, CBS, all of them, particularly CNN, what the segments that I have seen and the print news that I read from CNN seem to always, in my opinion, reinforce negative views of minority groups. Now, you may ask how? Because they always show minority groups, for the most part, as victims. Victims of white supremacy, victims of this, victims of that. They never seem to show black people and people of color, rising up above problems, rising up above obstacles. They always show them underneath the obstacles, oppressed and don't have no way to get out. And they always seem to point to some activist group or the government as the one that can save them. You mean to tell me that's not a negative reinforcement? To me, it is. And it's done by the left, not the right, from what I understand. Let's go on. Clint continued to say that his grandfather bought into conspiracy theories like QAnon, and their relationship became strained. I don't know nothing about QAnon. I never watched it. So I don't know nothing about them. So I can't say nothing about that. And their relationship became strained over the years. He also continued to insist that his grandfather would make racist comments in front of him that he tried to push back upon. Washington. Ludwig previously accused his grandfather of racism in an interview with the Kansas City Star, which spoke to his older brother, who did not believe race was a factor behind the shooting. Ludwig argued that his brother doesn't see their grandfather for who he is, and he continued arguing Lester has been, quote, radicalized by political ideology. That's in an article there, look. It's interesting how the mainstream media keeps everybody divided. He's claiming that these type of conservative news sources are radicalizing people like his grandfather. I find that extremely interesting because what I have been seeing for the last few months and several years has been radicalization of the left, people on the left. Why do I say that? Because people on the left, from what I have been seeing, have been the ones committing acts of violence, the ones assaulting people. They have been the ones doing this type of stuff. I haven't seen anyone on the so-called right. Now, I hate to use the term left and right because it's just divisive. It's just divisive, and I really believe it's a communist move to keep us all divided. I believe that they're using it, the elites are using the Hegelian dialectic, but I ain't going to get into all of that. That's another video. To keep us divided, the left and the right and all this, when in reality, if we all come together and get the facts, you know what I'm saying? Get the facts of the matter, it ain't going to be no left or right. It's going to be truth, pure truth, and that's it. Pure facts, and that's it. Get the facts first, baby. Then you can make that assessment. This young man here, in my opinion, I believe that he has been brainwashed by all the hoopla he's hearing around him from the mainstream media, which is mostly controlled by the left. Then he probably has friends and family members that reinforce that idea and worldview in his mind. So every time something involves a white person, and a black person, particularly when it comes to violence, is all racist. Get the facts straight first. I believe my assessment and argument on this, and I'm going to end this video, is I believe that this young man means well, but he's playing into the rhetoric that's been spun by him, by the communist Marxist infiltrators in this country. And the mainstream media, mostly controlled by the left, is the perpetrators of this. It isn't someone from the right. So I just wanted to give you guys, I want to elaborate a little bit more on this whole dilemma that's going on. This whole racial thing, it has to stop, because sooner or later there will be a race war. And you want to know how that race war is going to be done? It ain't going to be done through real racism, like the KKK in the early 1900s and all. No. That's not what it's going to be. It's going to be a race war, but it's going to be a race war caused by the mainstream media stirring up this hate among the people. That's the main culprit. Then you add the politicians, people like Biden and the rest of them, and then you add on top of that, you add the professors in the school systems keeping it stirred up with critical race theory and all this other type of stuff. Oh, yeah, there will be one. And that is, let me end the video on this note, that is the ultimate goal, to create a race war and a revolution in this country in order to create a socialist country and merge it with the one world government that's coming. It is what it is. That's all I had to say about it. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. And see you again.